Hi friends, I'm Victoria and welcome back to another book video. Today we have another video that's all about spooky stuff, but this time it is my horror and thriller wish list for the spooky season and fall. I have so many books on my TBR and wish list for this time of year. I do have a couple of videos up already. I have one that is a fall, just autumn wish list that are adult general fiction or spooky reads, about witches and stuff like that, but they're spooky and not scary. So if you're not interested in the really scary stuff, check that one out. I also have another one that's just fall and autumn wish lists that are more like YA, middle grade, and juvenile reads for those really cozy, almost like nostalgic Halloween feels. Well, I have all those up, and you all seem to like these videos, so I decided to do one that's just about my horror and thriller wish list. Now, I won't get to all of these books, of course, there's just too many, but this kind of making these videos really helps me go through my tags. I have tags in Libby, and that's how I kind of track all the books that I want to read. And I have one that is specifically Halloween focused, but for me, it's just easy to do it in Libby because I can just, see something, look at my tags there, and place it on hold from there. So that's what's super easy for me. So I'm going to be going through my Halloween specific tag in Libby and talk through some of the horror I want to read from there that I have been saving all year for Halloween. So yeah, if you are a fan of scary books and horror, or even just like thriller mysteries, please stay tuned. I have a really good list coming for you, and some of these I know for sure I will be reading. So yeah, stay tuned, and maybe you'll get some really good recommendations or ideas on some new books you might want to add to your list as well for the spooky season. I do plan on making a video at the end of fall and at the end of the Halloween season going over what I did and did not read from these lists and giving a quick review of what I thought of the books that I did read. And I thought that would be fun just to look back at what I had hoped to read and then what I actually got to. If you're interested in following up and seeing what I did read, please subscribe. I also will definitely have some of these books in reading vlogs and wrap-ups and things like that. Or if you just like bookish video content in general, please subscribe. That would help me a lot. I am new to YouTube. Also, if you're gonna like this video and you like Halloween, please give a thumbs up. That'll help me a lot. So let's get started. I want to kick off this video right off the bat with something I'm so excited about. It was just recently announced, and on September 26th, we are being so graciously gifted with a collection of short stories through KU and Audible, and these are all horror, and they're mainly creature features. So we're getting a creature feature collection from Kindle, and there's so many amazing authors in this. But we have The Pram by Joe Hill, which is basically about a dad who is yearning for a child, and all of his yearning and want for a kid, he manifests or concocts some sort of creature, demon, I don't know, but I can't wait for it. Next we have It Waits in the Woods by Josh Malerman. This is about an urban legend or a campfire story that is actually true, and we have people that are being drawn to the woods, and there's something lurking in there. Next we have In Bloom by Paul Tremblay, and this is set off of the coast of Cape Cod, and there's these weird toxic algae blooms, and it seems that something sinister is going on with them. I don't know if they are causing creatures and scary creatures, malignant creatures to be created. I don't know, but I can't wait for that. And then we have Big Bad by Chandler Baker, which is about a family who goes on a little excursion and a little trip to a cabin, and that is isolated in the woods, and something happens that draws the wolves out of the woods, and they are hungry for people, I guess. So that sounds great too. I absolutely love that cover. And then we also have Best of Luck by Jason Mott. It seems that there's something or someone that can just suck the luck out of people and take it for themselves, and then just leave the other person struggling, which I think is really unique and fun, and I can't wait to give that one a read. And last but not least, my most anticipated of this collection, I'm so freaking excited about this book, that is Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. I mean, this cover, the title, I lost it when I saw this. When I tell you, I was like, I was jaw on the floor. I could not wait. I absolutely love this premise. It's about the boogeyman. It's about there's something under the bed, and just something like so simple, but it's just like, yeah, like the first time I saw this, I was like, I gotta lift my feet onto the couch. I gotta move my feet. I can't have my ankles down on the ground. So I am so excited about this. These are all super short stories, like less than 200 pages, mostly around 100 pages, and they are being released on September 26th, and this video should be up by then. So I hope you're as excited about these as I am. I am so pumped. This one's called The Gathering Dark, and it's an anthology of folk horror. I am a huge fan of folk horror. It almost feels like cozy in a way, which I really enjoy, and I'm trying to get more into anthologies, but like reading them like a story in the morning or a story at night rather than reading them front to back. Like I feel like I'll enjoy them more that way. And this one's by Eric Waters, Chloe Gong, and Tori Bovolino. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but you know, a few of the stories, it says that there is a cemetery full of the restless dead, a town so wicked it has already burned twice, and with the breath of the third fire looming, a lake that allows the drowned to return, though they have been changed by the claws of death. These are the shadowed, liminal spaces where the curses and monsters lurk, refusing to be forgotten. It says that these are a lot of hauntings, and a variety of horrifying secrets lurk in the places we once called home. And there's so many like really great authors featured in this. And it says that these stories shed a harsh light on the scariest tales we grew up with. So I love that. Also, this cover is freaking phenomenal. Like, you can't beat that. And I am excited about this. I can't imagine not enjoying at least some of these in this collection. So I'm excited to give it a go. This next one I'm really excited about. It sounds super unique, but it's called I Feed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me. It's by Jamison Shea or Jameson Shea. I'm not super sure which way. I apologize. But this cover looks really cool too. But essentially we have this girl who is a ballerina, and she is Black, and she's really struggling to prove herself as a dancer. And in this, she ends up going deep into the catacombs and making a deal with the devil or something, like striking some kind of deal. And it gives her like power and allure and influence. And she uses that deal to rise in the ballerina industry in space and in ballet. I absolutely love the trope of like striking a deal with some kind of demon or devil. I don't know why, I just enjoy that. So I'm really looking forward to this. This one I already have checked out, so I am for sure going to be reading it, but it's Kate Alice Marshall's new release for this year, and it's called The Narrow. It says that it's a deliciously terrifying novel about a ghost who uncovers a teen girl's best kept secrets while haunting her boarding school. Perfect for fans of Lost in the Neverwoods and The Haunting of Bly Manor. So, I mean, we're at a boarding school. Tick off the box for atmosphere there. I absolutely love that. I also love like a haunting ghost, another one of my favorite tropes. So really excited about this. This one is YA, so you know, keep that in mind. It's not going to be very scary, but sometimes I love YA horror. I used to hate it, and I feel like I'm being drawn to it more and more, and I don't know why, but I feel like sometimes they're just kind of like a good palate cleanser, and sometimes they're even scarier or have more elements that are creepy than, you know, full adult horror, which is shocking to me. So I am just excited about this mainly for the atmosphere alone. Next up is a book that I haven't heard anyone talking about quite yet, and it's called White is for Witching by Helen. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the last name, I'm gonna mess it up. But it is essentially about this strange family house that's been in the family for generations, and it's a house in secluded Dover, England, which, yes, atmosphere, another one, check that right off. And this one, it seems like one of the girls who live in this house, her mother passes away, and once her mom does pass away, she starts experiencing very strange things in the house and with herself. And she like starts hearing things and is starting to wonder what's going on in this home. But it says that it is at once an unforgettable mystery and a meditation on race, nationality, and family legacies. That's really great. I'm excited about it, and it is adult, so if you're looking for that, and I can't wait to give this one a read. I absolutely love a haunting in a strange house trope. Next is Her Little Flowers by Shannon Morgan. It says that this is a bewitchingly atmospheric, melancholy modern ghost story set in the lush hills of England's Lake District. There, a solitary woman's quiet life spent in her crumbling ancestral manor house with the company of a child's ghost is dramatically interrupted when her estranged sister returns to share a horrific story of cruelty and desperation from decades earlier. So it sounds like we got generational stuff going on, we got a haunting, we got ghosts, we got an old manor estate in England, which I absolutely love. I think that this might be have a little bit of fantasy in there, which is okay with me sometimes if I am expecting it and ready for it in my horror. So I think that this just sounds good, atmospheric. Can you see that I am very interested in hauntings and just the atmosphere as a whole? That's something that I care about a lot in books. So I'm excited to give this a read. I do have it on hold on Libby, so I should be getting to it this season. Next up is a book that I can't believe I haven't gotten to yet. It's been on my wish list, like top of my list all summer, but I keep like putting it back. I don't know why, but I am definitely gonna give it a read, and that is Ring Shout. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. The last name is Clark, but essentially we have a story about this group of people that go after the KKK, and they kill them, try to get rid of all of them, and they're essentially just trying to save, you know, Black people and do good by this, and they're sending the KKK members straight to hell, which I absolutely love. I feel like there's going to be a good bit of action here, exciting, but also like a horror fantasy element, and I can't wait. I am really excited about the commentary here. It is based in like 1915, and you know, lots of things are coming to a head at this time, and I am so excited about this story. I've only heard amazing things. Next is another book that I cannot believe I haven't read. I feel like a lot of people have read this one, and that is A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Now this is a full-on horror, and essentially it is a commentary on schizophrenia, mental health, but it is about a family, and they're just a very regular suburban family, but their daughter starts to show signs of something's wrong, and really she is schizophrenic, but they believe she has been possessed, and she's 14 years old, and her family turns to the church and to priests to solve this issue. And then we are later hearing from the 14-year-old girl grown up later down the line recounting all that she went through at this time, and I think that it's like psychological horror, but also suspense, supernatural horror too. But I feel like a lot of people love this book, and it's been on my list for a hot minute. I have it checked out now, so I am definitely getting to it this spooky season. Okay, next is something a little bit different. It's actually a horror comedy, and it is YA, which is totally fine because it is like a comedy, so I'm cool with that. But it's There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. Absolutely love this cover too. Oh, this cover is so good. A spine-tingling contemporary horror comedy novel that follows a scary movie buff as she hosts an elaborate Halloween bash, but soon finds the festivities upended when she and her guests are forced to test their survival skills in a deadly game. So I absolutely love this. There's everything about this I enjoy. I love the comedy aspect. I love when there's like a scary movie buff. I love a Halloween party. Like how much more could you ask for? I can't wait to read this. I have it checked out already, so it's for sure getting read. Next is a thriller suspense, and it's called The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. It says that when a mother is targeted by a dangerous group of masterminds, she must commit a crime to save her kidnapped daughter or risk losing her forever. So, you know, it's a how far will you go kind of story, which I typically enjoy. It says, you are not the first and you will certainly not be the last. Rachel is now part of the chain, an unending and ingenious scheme that turns victims into criminals and is making someone else very rich in the process. So I can't wait to see the stakes, what's going on actually with this chain scenario. And they just like take advantage of the fact that they know that parents will do anything for their kids. And it just sounds really sinister and suspenseful, and I'm excited about it. Next is another one that I'm totally behind on, and that is Brother by Anya Alborn. Now, this is kind of like, you imagine a family that are kind of like Wrong Turn-esque. Like, that's really what it reminds me of. We're in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's like a family who, it seems that they get people from the woods or that might be lost out there and murder them. So very interesting premise, very Wrong Turn, or even like The Hills Have Eyes-esque, which I am totally into. But we have a member of this family, and he is like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be a part of this murderous family. And I think it's about him trying to leave, escape his friends that are caught into it, and like all kinds of stuff. So I've heard only great things, and I can't wait to give this a go. Okay, next is another one that I am totally behind on, and that is Confessions by Kane Minato. Now, this is a thriller suspense, and essentially we have this teacher or professor who, she has had a lot of bad things happen recently. So it seems that she was engaged, that engagement has been called off, and due to some reason that we don't know. And then there's also been an accident on the school grounds, which I don't know if that involved her daughter or what, but one day it's her last day teaching, because she's like, I can't teach anymore. I can't be here anymore. She resigns. But in her last class, she basically confesses and talks and gives a whole lecture which totally changes what all the students think about a couple of their peers. And then it like turns into them seeking revenge in some kind of way. So I don't know, the synopsis is very vague, but I appreciate that sometimes. So I've only heard really good things about this pretty much, and I can't wait to give it a go. It sounds super unique and interesting, and it sounds really different. And I also love that we're at a school, so there's that as well. Next is a book that's getting a lot of hype. It is a new release, and it's called The September House by Carissa Orlando. Essentially, we have a ghost story haunted house, and this woman has just moved into this house. She thought it was her dream house and has realized it's haunted, but she's determined to stay. She's like, I have bought this house, spent all this money, all these things, move my life. We're staying in this house. And it says that it's kind of funny, but delivers on like the eerie, darky creepiness. And I absolutely love this premise. Like, I don't know if this has really even been done before. So I think that's really unique and fun, especially when it comes to haunted house stories. I'm always like searching for something new, and this seems like it might deliver on that. So I can't wait. Next up is a new release called Schrader's Chord by Scott Leeds. It says that it's Heart-Shaped Box meets The Haunting of Hill House. And it says that it's a chilling debut about cursed vinyl records that open a gateway to the land of the dead. So I am really excited to see where this takes a turn and where this goes. I haven't heard too much about it just yet. I think it did just come out yesterday, now that from the day that I'm filming this. It's the 6th today, September 6th. So I think the idea of a like haunted vinyl record is fun. I actually watched a horror movie recently. It was old. It was like from the 80s, but it was kind of like that same idea. I don't know if I recommend it because it had a ton of horrible language and just like things that did not age well at all in it. I think it was called The Gate. It had Stephen Dorff in it when he was a kid. But yeah, it wasn't a horrible movie. It was just like some of the stuff I was like, whoa, they were saying those things, yikes, and they were kids. But anyway, but it had that same idea where it was like a haunted record, and it brought, demons or opened the gates of hell or something. So I think that this probably has like that same idea, and I can't wait to read that. Next is one that I've heard really good things about, and that is Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. Essentially, we have a post-apocalyptic story, and we have trans men and women that are trying to survive. It says that it's kind of like a darkly funny horror. We have these people that are basically hunting down men and taking their organs in a gruesome effort to ensure that they will never face the same fate. So I just think the commentary will be here. There might be some satire here, and I've only heard really great things about this, and I can't wait to give it a read. Next is one that was actually recommended by a subscriber, and that is Theme Music by T. Mary Vandelli. I'm really excited to give this a read. Essentially, we have this woman who her dad murdered her whole family when she was just 1 year old, and she was the only one that survived. And she became known as like Baby Blue because that was the song that was playing when they found the family and the aftermath, and the little girl and the baby girl left. We're following her 25 years later, and she has still like longed for some kind of connection with the rest of her family that were tragically killed. And she sees that her family home goes up for sale, and she buys it. It seems like there are some haunting things happening here. It might be a little bit haunted by her family, and she's really just trying to understand and uncover the truth of what happened. I'm so excited that this was recommended because I did have this on my horror tag at one point, but I totally forgot about it. So Gabriel, thank you so much for bringing this up and to my attention. I had totally forgotten about it, and I'm so excited to give this a read. This sounds right up my alley. I love a haunting. I love the trope of a murdered family, and yeah, I can't wait for this one. Next is a YA thriller horror, and that is Into the Sublime by Kate A. Borman. Now, I saw this and I saw the synopsis, and I was like, I need to read this. Essentially, it says that we have 4 teenage girls who descend into a dangerous underground cave system in search of a lake of local legend set to reveal your deepest fears. I love that. I absolutely love that premise. I think that that's amazing. The Descent is one of my favorite scary movies ever, and they are in a cave system. It's very scary. I also grew up in Tennessee, and I would spend some times caving growing up, and it's spooky for sure. Like it's dangerous. Things can happen in there. So I saw this and I was like, wow, I absolutely love that idea, and I can't wait to give this a read. If I don't give it a read this spooky season, then I will save it for spring summer, because I think this would be a really great like spring summer thriller too. Next is Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now it says that this has been like a cult classic in Spain and has just recently been translated. So I love that. I also was recently in Barcelona, and I mean, my favorite place I've ever been. It's an amazing city. But essentially it's kind of like Midnight in Paris, but made spooky scary, which if you've ever seen Midnight in Paris, I absolutely love it. I hate Woody Allen, but that's a good movie. On the last Sunday of each month, this one creepy woman in a cloak and a carriage that seems maybe to be a ghost comes to this one cemetery, and they leave a single rose on an unmarked grave there, and our characters decide to follow her in her carriage. And in doing that, they get transported to post-war Barcelona, and where it's like a world of aristocrats and actresses, investors and tycoons. They find all these dark secrets that lie waiting beneath the city streets, like in a labyrinth underneath the city streets. So I don't know, I think this sounds so fun, and it definitely has like an air of fantasy about it, which I'm okay with, but it's like a fantasy horror, and I love this premise, and I love Midnight in Paris. So I'm like, yes, take me back in time from a spooky carriage by a spooky lady. Let's do that. Next is another one that I feel like is really popular that I've been sleeping on, and that's Whisper Down the Lane by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is essentially about how satanic panic really took over in the 80s, and how that paranoia can fester and prime people to just jump and make accusations and do things that are totally wrong. And this one's specifically inspired by the McMartin preschool trial. If you never heard of that, definitely look into it. There are YouTube videos about it, but it's a very sad, horrible story where everything was just made up, and there was a whole trial around these teachers in this preschool and them saying that they were witches or occult or satanic, and ruined their lives, and it was all false and not true. And it's kind of fascinating, and horrible, of course. but it's like 30 years later now, and we're talking to, I guess, some of the kids involved and finding out what actually went on. I don't know, but this sounds really good. It's a very popular and acclaimed thriller horror from what I can tell. I've mostly heard really good things about this, so I can't wait to give this a read. Next up is one that is based on Halloween night. We had to have it. There needs to be more of those also. I know that a lot of people recommend Dark Harvest, or they're like, I want to read that. I do not recommend it. I read it last year. It might have been one of my worst books of the year last year. It's just not good. I wish it was, because the cover is awesome. I love that it's based on Halloween night, but it was just a huge flop for me. Of course, it's short. Give it a try if you're interested. But yeah, just a big old miss for me. But this one is All Hallows by Christopher Golden, and it is based on Halloween night. But it says that it has like the 80s nostalgia of Stranger Things, but it's like a horror drama. And it follows neighborhood families and a mysterious lurking evil on one Halloween day. So it says that it's Halloween night, 1984 in Massachusetts. Yes, love that. It says that two families are unraveling, and then up and down the street, horrifying secrets are being revealed. And all the while, mixed in, the trick-or-treaters of all ages, 4 children who do not belong are walking door to door, merging with the kids on the road, and children in vintage costumes with faded, eerie makeup. They seem terrified and beg the neighborhood kids to hide them away, to keep them safe from the cunning man. So these weird kids are like, the cunning man's coming for us. The cunning man's coming for us weird kids and you normal kids that live on the street. So like things going in the woods. I don't know. There's a lot of aspects to this, but I'm really excited about it. I like the premise of these weird kids telling them, you gotta go, the cunning man's coming. Like, who's a cunning man? I want to know. So I'm really excited about this. I'm definitely going to try to read it spooky season, hopefully like Halloween week. That would be ideal. The next one is a new release, and it sounds really good. It's called A History of Fear by Luc Dumas. This is a thriller horror, and essentially we have this, we're following this person and how they got tangled up, as it seems, with the devil. It seems that it starts out with this character named Grayson, and he became pretty famous or infamous at one point because he murdered one of his schoolmates, and he said that the devil made him do it. And he's now called like the devil's advocate in, you know, press and things like that. But we follow what actually happened and what transpired and how he ended up in this position, and if the devil really did make him do it. I think that sounds so interesting, and I also love this cover. Next up, we have one that is YA, and I think it's more of a thriller, not a horror, but I've only heard amazing things about this book, and that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike. I don't want to pronounce their last name wrong, so I'm gonna hold off. But we're at a private school, and we have these 2 girls that have been given the role of prefect, which is really good for them and looks good on applications, but they have started getting these texts from someone called Aces, and the person that is Aces is like texting them all these things and kind of like ruining what's going on for them, and it's just not looking good. Kind of like a Pretty Little Liars situation. It ends up turning deadly, it seems like, so I can't wait to give us a read. It just sounds like a really fun time. Next up is one that I haven't heard anything about. I do think it's a new release, and it's called Night Film by Marisha Pestel. This is about a journalist that becomes obsessed with a family that has had a troubling death within it, and this family is very well known and affluent in the film industry, and the daughter of, you know, this iconic filmmaker has passed, and she doesn't believe that it was what they said it was. And she's trying to dive in and see what is actually going on here. It seems to be a very powerful family, and she's like, how far can she go to uncover the truth? Crime dramas aren't my favorite, but every now and again I do like to throw one in, and this one sounds really interesting, and I love the aspect of this strange affluent family tied to it. Next is another YA thriller mystery horror kind of thing, and that is The Missing Season by Gillian French. I am so excited about this because it is based in October. We have kids who love to play Halloween pranks and all those kinds of things, but we do have kids that are going missing. And the kids believe that it is some sort of creature. They call it the Mumbler. But it says that as Halloween gets closer and tensions build in the town, it's hard to shake the feeling that there really is something dark and dangerous in their city, lurking in the shadows, waiting to bring the stories to life. So I just thought the atmosphere, this cover is based in October. There's Halloween stuff going on. I had to add this to my list, and I really hope to read this, around Halloween week. Now we have one that I cannot wait to read. It looks so good. I actually got a arc from NetGalley, which I'm so excited about, and that is The Horror at Pleasant Brook by Kevin Lucia. This cover looks so good. It is a horror, and it says that this Halloween, a malevolent, creeping horror invades a small, isolated town nestled deep in the Adirondacks. It cares nothing for this town's secrets, prejudices, or flaws. Its only desires are to consume everything in its path and spread until nothing else remains. I am so excited about this. I love this premise and idea, and I can't wait to give this a read. I mean, it sounds perfect for Halloween spooky season for sure. Next is one that does not come out till October 31st, till Halloween, and that is Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. A couple with a baby gains access to the perfect 2-bedroom apartment in New York. And it says that it's an ode to creepy New York legacy apartment buildings. These parents are struggling after birth, and the wife has been paralyzed from the birth, which is absolutely horrible. And they have been, offered this apartment and got into it, and they're worried about it because of the accessibility factor, but they decided it was just too nice and too good of an opportunity to say no to. It says that they haven't been really welcomed into the building and that their neighbors have sinister motivations. So I am really excited to give this a read. I love this kind of a premise. I love the idea of old apartment buildings in NYC, and I can't wait to give this a read. Next up is one that I think everyone is excited for release, and that is Rouge by Mona Awad. It comes out September 12th, so that might already be prior to when this video goes up, but Mona Awad is the author of Bunny. I think a lot of us enjoyed Bunny. It was very weird and strange and definitely unique, and I know I thoroughly enjoyed it, but this one, it's about a character named Belle, and she has been obsessed with her skin and aging, and her mom passes away, and she finds herself in Southern California kind of dealing with all of those aspects, all the stuff that you have to deal with when someone that you're close to passes away, and handling just all of those logistics. It says that a strange woman in red appears at the funeral, offering a tantalizing clue about her mother's demise, followed by a cryptic video about a transformative spa experience. So I think that sounds so fun. There is a, what is it? There's a show that I watched last Halloween season. It was like an anthology kind of show, but one of the episodes, it might have even been like American Horror Stories or something, but it was about this woman who gets something done to her face, and she thinks that they're like turning her into like all of the beauty standards that she wanted and envisioned, but actually they turn her face into a pig. So maybe this is like that, I don't know, but it reminded me of that, which I think is funny. Next, we do have an extreme horror novella, and that is Thigh Gap, and that is #ThighGap by Chandler Morrison. It's almost similar to Rouge in a way, where we have a character who is absolutely obsessed with the physical looks and weight loss, and she lives in LA and she is a model, so there's all those kind of factors in there, but it's kind of like, how far will she go to attain these beauty standards? And I absolutely love that premise. I can't wait to give this a read. It's a super short one, so yeah, I've only heard good things as well. And last but not least, we have a new release. It says that it's publishing soon. I don't know the exact date, but it's called Out There Screaming, and it's edited by Jordan Peele and John Joseph Adams. So yes, Jordan Peele. And I saw that and I was like, wow, I have to add this to the list for sure. But it is an anthology with all new stories from Black horror authors, and it says that it's exploring not only the terrors of the supernatural, but the chilling reality of injustice that haunts our nation. So I saw this, I was like, I have to give this a read. Really excited about it. Of course, if these selections were, you know, selected and collected and like edited by the mind of Jordan Peele, I was like, they have to be pretty good, at least most of them. So I cannot wait to give this a read. Okay, friends, I am done. That is it. That is the list. There were probably, I don't know, 25 there. Who knows? A large number. And I'm definitely not going to get to all of these. I am averaging around 15 to 20-ish books per month. But, you know, with the horror, thriller ones, and then the cozy ones, and just spooky in general, I don't think I'll get to all of these, but we shall see. I don't know. But there are definitely some of these that I know for sure I am going to read this spooky season that I am really excited about. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned to my channel or subscribe, because I will for sure have videos with those reviews and wrap-ups and reading logs, all the things with some of these books in them. But yes, thank you so much for watching, especially all this way through. I hope that you got some good ideas, and if you have any good Halloween recommendations, please put them below. I'm always looking for new books that are specifically based around Halloween. It is kind of hard to find, weirdly, like I don't know why, but I am, especially ones that are scary. I mean, sometimes there's more like fun ones, but specifically like horror and thriller, it's harder to find. But if you have any recommendations or ideas for me, or just want to chat, please, you know, comment. I would love to talk with you. And yeah, if you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up if you would like. That would help me a lot. But thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all this way through, and I hope you have a lovely spooky day.